Imagine a royal family so ancient, so mysterious, that their lineage predates every other monarchy on Earth. A dynasty so powerful that they've survived wars, invasions, and the complete transformation of an entire nation, yet remain an enigma to the world. Close your eyes and picture Tokyo in 1945. World War II has just ended. The most powerful man in Japan, Emperor Hirohito, stands before a microphone, about to do something unprecedented in world history. For the first time, this man, once considered a living god, will speak directly to his people, acknowledging Japan's surrender. But here's the mind-blowing twist. This wasn't just a simple radio address. This was a moment that would redefine an entire civilization. For centuries, the Japanese imperial family existed in a realm beyond ordinary human understanding. They were more than rulers. They were living embodiments of divine power. Descended from the sun goddess Amaterasu, these emperors weren't just monarchs. They were walking, breathing mythological figures who claimed direct connection to the gods themselves. Let's peel back the layers of this incredible story. Most Americans think of the Japanese emperor as a ceremonial figurehead, a symbol without real power. But the truth? Far more complex and infinitely more fascinating. The imperial family's history reads like an epic saga that would make Game of Thrones look like a children's bedtime story. Imagine a royal lineage so unbroken that historians can trace it back to 660 BCE. That's over 2,600 years of continuous royal succession. No other monarchy on the planet comes close to this extraordinary legacy. But power isn't just about longevity, it's about influence. And the Japanese emperors have wielded influence in ways that would shock most Western observers. Take Emperor Meiji, for instance. In 1868, he didn't just become a ruler, he orchestrated an entire national transformation. Imagine a monarch who decides to catapult an entire country from feudal isolation into a modern industrial powerhouse in just a few decades. He dismantled the samurai system, introduced Western technologies, and essentially rewrote Japan's entire societal blueprint. And then there's the most controversial period, World War II. Emperor Hirohito's role during this time is a historical minefield that continues to spark debate. Was he a puppet master pulling strings behind the scenes, a passive observer, or something more nuanced? Most Americans have a simplistic view of the Japanese emperor during World War II. They picture a distant, almost mythical figure disconnected from the brutal realities of war. But the historical record tells a far more intricate story, one of complex political maneuvering, cultural tensions, and a monarch walking an impossible tightrope between tradition and modernity. Consider this. After Japan's surrender, instead of being tried as a war criminal, which many Allied leaders wanted, Hirohito was allowed to retain his throne. This wasn't just a diplomatic courtesy. It was a calculated decision that would reshape the entire post-war Japanese political landscape. The story of Japan's emperors is not just a historical account. It's a living, breathing narrative of survival, adaptation, and the extraordinary ability to reinvent oneself while maintaining an unbroken connection to the past. Are you ready to dive deep into the most mysterious royal family in human history? Let's dive deeper into a world most Americans can barely imagine. A royal system so unique, so intricate, that it defies everything we understand about monarchy. The Japanese imperial family isn't just old, it's ancient beyond comprehension. When the United States was still a collection of scattered colonies, the Japanese imperial line was already thousands of years old. This isn't just a family, it's a living, breathing historical archive. But here's where it gets truly mind-blowing. Unlike European monarchies, where power often changed hands through bloody coups and revolutions, the Japanese imperial line remained unbroken. No other royal family comes close to this level of continuity. We're talking about a direct lineage that claims descent from the sun goddess Amaterasu, a mythology so deeply ingrained that it transcends mere historical record. Picture this. In 1945, everything changed for the imperial family. The living god was suddenly human. Emperor Hirohito's radio broadcast was more than just a surrender speech. It was a fundamental reimagining of imperial identity. Imagine being told that you're no longer divine, that centuries of spiritual and political power have been stripped away in a single moment. The transformation was nothing short of revolutionary. Before World War II, the emperor wasn't just a ruler. He was the absolute center of Japanese spiritual and political life. Shintoism, Japan's indigenous religion, positioned the emperor as a direct descendant of the gods. School children would bow to his photo. Soldiers would fight and die in his name. This wasn't just political power. This was a quasi-religious authority that permeated every aspect of Japanese society. But power is never truly lost, it simply transforms. After the war, the emperor became something entirely new, a symbol of national unity, stripped of direct political power but maintaining enormous cultural significance. It's a magic trick of historical proportions. How do you go from being a living god to a constitutional monarch without losing your fundamental importance? The answer lies in the extraordinary adaptability of the imperial family. Where other monarchies might have collapsed, the Japanese imperial family reinvented itself. They became guardians of tradition, symbolic leaders who represented Japan's continuous cultural narrative. Take Emperor Hirohito's son, Emperor Akihito, as a prime example. In 1989, when he ascended to the throne, he did something unprecedented. He humanized the monarchy. He spoke openly about Japan's wartime actions, expressed remorse, and worked to create a more transparent relationship with the Japanese people. And here's a detail that will blow your mind. Despite losing official political power, the imperial family maintains an almost mystical level of respect in Japanese society. It's not about direct control anymore, it's about cultural and spiritual significance. Consider the imperial rituals that continue to this day. The Daijosai, the most important enthronement ceremony, is a ritual so ancient, so complex, that it connects the current emperor directly to rulers from over 1,000 years ago. Imagine a ceremony where every movement, every gesture is laden with millennia of meaning. But don't think for a second that this is just about preserving the past. The modern imperial family is actively engaged in soft diplomacy, cultural preservation, and representing Japan on the world stage. They're not political leaders in the traditional sense, but they wield an influence that goes far beyond mere ceremony. The story of the Japanese emperor is ultimately a story of survival. How do you maintain relevance in a world that's constantly changing? How do you preserve tradition while adapting to modernity? The imperial family has found a way to do exactly that, becoming a living bridge between Japan's ancient past and its dynamic present. This isn't just a royal family. This is a continuing national narrative, a story written not in years or decades, but in centuries. The Japanese imperial family's survival is more than a historical miracle. It's a masterclass in political and cultural adaptation that would make Machiavelli himself take notes. Think about the most turbulent moments in modern history. World wars, nuclear bombings, complete societal restructuring. Most institutions would have crumbled under such pressure, but not the imperial family. They didn't just survive, they transformed. Let's talk about something most Americans don't know: the secret diplomatic power of the modern emperor. While technically stripped of political authority, these monarchs have become Japan's most sophisticated diplomatic instruments. Emperor Naruhito, the current monarch, isn't just a figurehead. He's a global ambassador who navigates international relations with surgical precision. Consider the emperor's role during times of national crisis. During the 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami, one of the most devastating natural disasters in modern history, Emperor Akihito, Naruhito's father, did something extraordinary. In a rare televised address, he provided emotional support to a nation in shock. This wasn't just a speech. This was national healing through symbolic leadership. But here's where it gets truly fascinating. The imperial family maintains an almost supernatural connection to Japanese cultural identity. Every ritual, every public appearance is laden with meaning that goes far beyond mere ceremony. When the emperor performs traditional Shinto rituals, he's not just performing, he's literally reconnecting the nation to its ancestral roots. Imagine a royal family so deeply intertwined with national identity that their personal lives become a form of soft power. When Emperor Naruhito married Masako Owada, a Harvard-educated diplomat, it wasn't just a wedding. It was a statement about Japan's modern identity, traditional yet progressive, rooted yet global. The dark side of this legacy is equally compelling. During World War II, the emperor was more than a symbolic leader. Historical evidence suggests Hirohito was deeply involved in military decisions, though the extent of his direct responsibility remains a topic of heated debate. After the war, he masterfully navigated a transformation from wartime leader to peaceful symbol of national unity. This is a royal family that has survived by being simultaneously unchanging and constantly evolving. They've maintained an unbroken lineage for over 1,500 years, longer than any monarchy in world history. Compare this to European royal families, which have been repeatedly interrupted by revolutions, wars, and political upheavals. The modern Japanese emperor walks an impossible tightrope. He must be simultaneously a living symbol of ancient tradition and a modern diplomatic figure. He cannot vote. He cannot hold political office, yet his influence is felt in every corner of Japanese society. Think about the psychological impact. In a rapidly modernizing world, the imperial family provides Japanese people with a tangible connection to their historical identity. They are living proof that tradition and progress can coexist, that a culture can embrace the future without losing its soul. Today, Emperor Naruhito continues this delicate dance. He's a monarch in the 21st century, promoting environmental causes, supporting scientific research, and representing Japan on the global stage. He speaks multiple languages, has studied maritime engineering, and represents a version of royalty that is light years away from traditional monarchical stereotypes. The story of the Japanese emperor is ultimately a story of resilience. It's about how a royal institution can survive not through force, but through adaptability. It's a testament to the power of cultural continuity in a world of constant change. This isn't just a historical narrative. This is a living, breathing example of how tradition can be a source of strength rather than a burden. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through one of the world's most mysterious royal families. If you found this exploration fascinating, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video. Help us uncover more hidden stories that challenge everything you thought you knew about world history. Hit that notification bell so you never miss another mind-blowing exploration into the unknown. Your curiosity keeps these stories alive, and trust me, you won't want to miss what we're revealing next.